Hello, guys. Welcome. I'm going to be talking about AI tonight. I've been AI and social media creation, uh, content creation. I've been asked about this so much this week. So I'm going to do a quick one tonight because it is the long weekend for Easter and I need to go away, shut everything down. I'm just going to share this on Facebook to my group. If you are on Facebook, feel free to jump into my free group, which is Marketing Help for Small Businesses. You're welcome in there. I give away lots of free advice and lots of free downloads on there. Now, I am multi-streaming this to a number of different channels, LinkedIn, Facebook, my profile, my business page, and also to my group. It'll go across to YouTube, TikTok, etc. So make sure you subscribe, like, share, follow, whatever else. So if you are new here, my name is Melissa Mitchell. I own a marketing agency and I specialize in organic marketing. If that is a term that is new to you, organic marketing just means using strategies that are non-paid. So I look at every opportunity to be able to market your business through through free strategies. So that means understanding your social media platforms, using them as a search engine. How do we get new people who don't know your business? How are you going to be seen through your social media? How are we going to get people to your page to understand your brand when they don't know you? So social media is really a search engine. It used to be very different. It wasn't so much a search engine. It is now a search engine. Which means that it can be shown up on Google. If your marketing agency is not treating your social media platform like a search engine, and if they are just posting on your behalf, which a lot of agencies just do, you are wasting your money. You need to take your money that you're spending and chuck it in the bin. Yes, that's what I work with. Now, because I am using a third-party software to stream, so I'm using StreamYard, I may not see your comments or your questions there. If you do have any, make sure you do drop them below. And of course, if you are watching the replay, still drop your questions and I'll get back to you. So I've written down some questions here. Sorry, some things that I'm going to talk about, not so much questions. And as I said, if you've got any questions, let me know. I try not to wear my reading glasses, but I'm really struggling to read what I've written down here. Okay, so first thing that I wanted to talk about is AI is not your content savior. I have said it before. I'm going to say it again. AI is an incredible tool. Yes, you should be using it in your business for a multitude of different things. Obviously, owning a marketing agency. On this live, I am just talking about AI for content creation. There are so many different ways that you can use AI, but of course, just in this live, I'm just talking about content creation here. But it is not your content savior, and you should not use it just to fully create your content. You shouldn't use it for your blogs. You shouldn't use it for your copy. You shouldn't use it to mass produce anything. Your videos, your copy for your text, your website copy, your copy for any social media posts, ads, anything. It will be a massive disaster if you do. Yeah, you might think, wonderful, this is great. I can create a month's worth of content. I can create all my blogs from this. This is easy. I'll push a button and I'll create it. Great, yeah, you'll get your content up, no problems. But it is wasted. You might as well take your time and money, rip it up and chuck it in the bin. If you want to read more on this, Neil Patel, who's amazing, he's a great organic marketer. He more works on websites though, not so much social media. He writes about this, but you can look up, other industry leaders on the internet as well. And he talks about this. What happens when you just use AI copy, or even if you're using it to create images, not so much images, but I'll talk about that in a moment, in the decline in reach and views and why people aren't getting great views and everything. And it's got to do with more the images, but just talking about copy and why AI is not your content savior is because there is a rating. Now, different platforms on social media call it something different. I believe on Meta it's called like an edge rating, but I could be completely wrong there. And what that means is that you have to be organized and listed somehow. Because if we all just put copy out, just excuse me a sec. It's my dog at the door. Come on. Angry little chihuahua that wants to come in. Google has to prioritize content. So where everyone is chucking out all this content, it has to be prioritized somehow. Google and other search engine platforms have to say, okay, how are we going to rank this content? And social media says the same thing. Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, and TikTok, etc. How are we going to prioritize this content on the most popular? So it looks for elements in that. So, how connected to the audience is it? How humanized is it? What sets this content apart from the rest of it? If you are just spitting out AI content that is just blueprinted from the next to the next to the next, how are you going to stand out? And it is really easy as a marketer, or if you're a copywriter. I've got, obviously I work with copywriters. I use them in my business. It is so easy to see. I cringe when I see this kind of copy because it is so easy for us to detect when it is AI generated copy. Now, that's not to say that I don't use AI in my business. I heavily use AI, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment, how I use it and how I recommend that you do use it. But if you just spit this content out, you're just going up against the millions of other pieces of AI content. You're not even ranking it. You're not even on the radar of social media platforms on where your content is going to sit. So the more that you put the soul into your copy and the human element, the more chance you're going to get ranked on Google for your social copy and also ranked on those social media platforms, because there has to be an edge rating. You have to be better than the next person. Otherwise, how are you going to get seen? So it is not your content savior. So do not rely on it. So how do I use it in my business? I use it for mapping it out, mapping my content out and planning. Now, I have the paid version. I personally use ChatGPT, but there's Claude as well. And there's other programs. I find ChatGPT the best. I find it works the best. But I use a paid version. And then I use plugins are going, and I think they're actually pretty much almost obsolete. And now you use GPTs, and I search for the best ones and I pin them to my sidebar. So I use things that can search the internet to find. One of the ones I really like is Scholar AI. So it's a GPT that searches sites like Google Scholar to find articles and topics on things where I want to research topics on, so I can then find particular articles that I can then go through manually as a human, look at and extract information so I can actually then put my copy together from, and I can reference those articles. So I use Scholar AI a lot through AI. So I'm using the AI material to cut time down in my business, to troll the internet. I don't mean troll as in harass people, but crawl the internet to cut down my search time to find the articles that I need to research on so I can write the copy. So I might go in and say, find me 10 reputable sites that are going to give me topics on solar energy. I've got a company, an electricity company, for example, it's a client that are, green energy, solar energy, that are based in Australia, that are reputable sites. And as I said, I generally do use Google Scholar. So that is Google, but Scholar, which is all just on articles, and it's just based on that. And I go down and I narrow that, and I ask ChatGPT for the links to that. And then I'll say, great, here's now 10 sites. And then through those 10 sites, I'll say, great, now can you identify 3 topics from each of those sites that I can write copy on? I can write social media posts on. So then from those Google Scholar sites, I then have on those 10 sites, I might have 3 topics from each of those different sites. So then I can go to those reference links and then I can start populating my content. So I'm not using it to write my content, but I'm using AI to help me find those factual sites where I can start to populate my content. So that's how I use AI in my business. So do not think that AI is your content savior. The amount of times I see it, and I see marketing agencies do this, and it drives me insane. And I know they're charging a lot of money, and you may as well just throw your money in the bin, because the results that I get, and I know that we're getting listed on. Hey, Arifa, how are you? Thank you. I'm glad that you're enjoying this topic. I'm so passionate about this because I can see the effects that this is happening on people's accounts. So the difference is that people are just posting for the sake of it. Do not ever just post on your social media just because, well, I need to get content up, so I'm going to use AI. You don't want to do that. You are going to damage your account. You're going to damage your brand. Do not do that. So that's how I use it. I use it for a number of other things as well to help me, look at blueprints and understand data. But in terms of content, that's how I'm using it. I've written down how not to use it. So we've talked about that. As I said, don't bulk produce. When you're producing content as well, one thing that you also need to look at is you don't want to just mass produce a month's worth of content without thinking about what goes next to each other. So when you're creating content, the strategy that I've put together and that I'm teaching my team too, and we work on as well, is that you also need to look at the content as a whole. What went out yesterday? What is going out today? What is going out tomorrow? Are these posts similar? So when you mass produce content with AI, the content could also be very similar, and that looks terrible as well. So you also need to consider, okay, does this post look too similar to the post that went out 2 days ago? That's the other thing that you don't want to be doing. You don't want to be, you've also got to consider your posts as a whole. So when you're mapping it out, it needs to reflect that accordingly. So that's another thing. No, the other thing I've got down here is AI recognized content. So I spoke about ranking on Google, and I spoke about, Google and social media platforms need to prioritize your content. It needs to know what is different. You're not going to stand out. One thing that started to happen as well is people being mass producing quote content with videos. And this, it does work well if you do it properly. So they've got a stock video image, put a quote over it, and I do use these myself, but it's got to be different to the next person. And something in my last point here, why reach has declined, you probably notice your accounts can go up and down and up and down. So what happened once AI content came out and everyone just thought, oh, it's my content savior. I'll push a button, we'll create a month's worth of content and we'll just sit back and do nothing. What then happened is there is so much content out there and not enough eyeballs to see it. So then there's not enough real estate. So your content may decline because there's so much content that needs to be pushed out to people's news feeds, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook, it doesn't matter. There's so much content out there that needs to be pushed out and not enough eyeballs to see it. So the platforms are struggling to get this content out. So how are you going to be seen above that? Make your content better. Humanize it. Don't just mass produce this content like everyone else, and your content's going to get seen. Connect with your audience. And this is why, if you've heard me talking before, authenticity sells. Do not just post for the sake of it. And if your marketing agency is just doing that, get rid of them. I'm telling you now, you are wasting your money. How do you know if that's happening? If you're not getting results. Do not worry about your follow account. Ask to see the engagement. And vanity metrics don't really count. Ask to see the engagement with your agency or whoever you're employing to do your marketing, or if you're doing the marketing yourself, because vanity metrics, as I said, don't matter. because you could still have a really good agency, but you're only getting 1 or 2 likes, no one's commenting. You think, oh, okay, I must have a really bad agency. But when they go and show you the engagement and wow, we reached 9,000 people, the engagement rate is at 17,000 or something like that, that's great. But you can't see this. You don't see the likes, you don't see the shares, you don't see the comments. But hey, we've had 17,000 or 5,000 or whatever it is for your account engaging with my content. That's really good. Because don't forget, engagement can also be when someone stops on your content and reads it. An algorithm can pick that up. So I'm just talking my personal Instagram account here. Instagram, I hate Instagram personally. I don't know. Instagram hates me. So when I look at my own personal Instagram account, which is a thorn in my side, sometimes I only get 1 like on a post or a video, or 2 if I'm lucky, and I get 0 to, next to no comments. But then when I look at my traffic, which my audience can't see, I don't have the biggest Instagram account. I'm only, I don't know, maybe 6,500 followers, something, but it doesn't worry me. My money doesn't come from Instagram. It comes from other platforms. It comes from Facebook and LinkedIn, etc. And then in my business, obviously it comes through other, I'm not worried about that. That's not my money-making activity. That's just my personal brand. In my business, obviously it comes through other advertising methods because it's an agency. It's a personal brand. I'm just talking my personal brand here. When I look at Instagram and I get 1 or 2 likes, but then I know the traffic behind the scenes and I might be getting 3,000 or 4,000 engagement metrics a month. So I'm not worried about it. I don't care if I'm not getting any comments. So that is a little bit of a different model, but just to give you an understanding of why it just doesn't matter. So that is my take on AI. Yes, if you use it in a smart way, it's phenomenal for your business. So think about when the calculator first came out. Before we had mobile phones and we were all using calculators on our phones, when calculators came out, we as humans had to get smarter about how to use a calculator. What can we use a calculator for? How can we integrate a calculator into our work life? It didn't make us obsolete. We still had to think as humans, how do we use this new device? What does that mean for our working capacity? And, obviously for accountants and, those sorts of people. And, for science and maths, where they do use calculators more frequently. What does this mean for our work environment? How, and science calculators came out, which is obviously not my niche, so I don't really understand it, but I'm sure there's so many shortcuts in their world when these science calculators came out that they were able to take, these shortcuts, etc. It's no different to AI. As humans, okay, how can we now streamline our processes? That's what AI is about. It is not about pushing a button and having all your content done. How can we even get better again about creating content, streamlining our processes? But don't forget, the end goal is you still need the engagement. It's not about just getting a post up for the sake of it. So be smart about how you use the AI, not lazy, because that defeats the purpose. If we did that with calculators, the end result would be pretty crap, yeah? So that's what you need to think about. Use it in the right way and it'll be phenomenal in your business. Use it in the wrong way, you're actually going to go backwards. So that is what I wanted to say today. I hope you all have an amazing Easter, fabulous time off. As I said, I am multi-streaming this to a few different platforms, so I can't see who's on. I can't see your questions if you've dropped any. I will check afterwards when I jump off. Whatever platform you're on, make sure you like, subscribe, share. Whatever platform you're on, there'll be a link somewhere you can subscribe to my weekly newsletter. Now, I am in the process of rebranding. It's not a new agency. I do have an agency which has just gone absolutely crazy at the moment, so much so that I've separated my own personal brand from my agency and renaming my agency to the new name is Lolly Said Yes. It is registered. but the website is not out yet because we're in the process of branding and the website being built by the amazing team at Stoke Design Co. I'm so excited for it. So that should be out in the next 2 months. But any agency inquiries, you can still come through Abundant Life Studio. It's just that Abundant Life Studio and Lolly said yes will be separated because my own personal brand has grown quite big. So that will be more my DIY marketing, my workshops, my speaking events, my consulting, and the agency inquiries will be coming through Lolly from once that's launched as well. But of course, in the meantime, if you have any inquiries about marketing, do get in touch. And for those who are just on their journey, perhaps you've got a home business, a small home business, I do have a online digital store. That's for the small business owners. Perhaps you've got a cake business at home or something. That is all things digital. There'll be a link somewhere through to my digital store, and you can purchase ebooks and those sorts of things. So all my digital resources as well. But yes, you can subscribe to my newsletter as well. Once Lolly comes out officially, there will be a more business-minded newsletter for that, and I will again be separating the two newsletters. So lots happening. And of course, I do have the education space that we do advertising in as well. So there's that too. So for now, I'm going to head off. Enjoy the long weekend, everyone. And if you've got any questions about the AI, just let me know and I can answer it below. You guys rock. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next week for my live. I've got my article coming out on Sunday on LinkedIn, which I'll talk a little bit further about AI as well. And of course, you can subscribe to that too. See you guys then. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.